Okay, you're on.
Am I audible? Do I sound like you can hear me clearly?
Why can't you see me?
I can't see you too well, but I can hear you.
Wave your hand. Yes, I see you move. I see you move. It worked. Nobody moved. Nobody moved from wherever they are. Everybody, all of you are in the right place.
So I was trying to figure out what kind of a topic I could talk about with someone I bring on, and I was talking to my friend about it, and we decided to speak about self-doubt because we don't address it as much. It's something that we all feel on a daily basis, or maybe not. It depends on who's the one talking. And yeah, so I have a friend called Aditya Rajput coming on board. He finally released his album EP. I'm not sure what the right term for it is, and yeah, we're just waiting for him to join so we can talk about it. He also works actively in waste management systems and tries to help us understand how we can use our daily food waste and meat generated waste better. So I'm just going to wait till he joins and you guys can see me. This is not sponsored by Phoenix, I'm just saying. It's just a cup I got somewhere. Okay. Hi.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, can. But you're a little muffled.
Muffled as in you can't hear me clearly?
I mean, I can, but it's a little muffled. But I think I can work with it. That's not a problem.
I can hear you clearly. That's why I'm asking you, right?
Yeah, you're good. Don't worry. You're good. You're good. I'm so sorry. I took a while and then I realized that I was like, am I on the right account? Am I doing this in the right place? I wasn't very sure. Okay. So tell me a little bit, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Aditya Rajput. I make music. I'm from Pune itself, and I've been doing this for quite some time. Apart from that, I am currently into like waste management and waste management systems. I'm pretty driven towards it, apart from just doing music, although being a full-time artist at the same time.
Right. And so congratulations, by the way, you recently released it. I wasn't sure earlier, do I call it an EP or an album?
It's an EP. It's an EP. It's a short EP of 3 tracks. Album is particularly a longer sector of what you do. EP is a short one. It's like a short album.
Right. So congratulations, you finally
Thank
released
you.
it. What made you decide to, because I know that you haven't released something in years and it's been on the table for you for a very long time. So what made you finally decide to release this?
Oh, this went through a lot of phases basically. I wasn't actually sure that I should be putting out music because I had so many styles going on of my own in my own computer, which was like I'm just sitting and making music with different styles, which can be a lot of experimental stuff.
Yeah.
And somewhere down the line, I could pretty much figure out during this lockdown, and in fact during this lockdown, somewhere around in March, that I should be putting out stuff. Like people should get to know what I'm actually making because I've been an artist. People know that I produce music. They've been knowing it for quite some time, but I haven't put out my work as of them for them to just check it out. And that is one thing I was actually looking forward to, like people trying to understand. The main problem was that people wanted me to put out music, and I was into this whole zone of not understanding whether I should do it or not. And after a lot of chaos and all that, I put out something that was very unusual from my side because I don't usually produce that kind of music. But this really connected to me. This particular EP, which I made right now, I particularly connected to what I actually wanted to put out as music. And that's where I found out, like, you know what, I should be really putting out my music more often now. Since it's out right now, I've gone to the point where I think like I should put out more music, let people listen to it. And I strongly believe that it is up to people for them to like it, maybe judge it, or maybe like criticize it. Because see, as long as you don't get feedback, you're always going to stay in that bubble of not understanding what you're doing right or wrong.
Right.
Because if you know what you're making, and if you're the only one who's constantly listening to it, other people who listen to so many different kinds of music might just give you the right insight about what you actually make and how does it make them feel. Because you can't be selfish about art, like music in general. You can't just make it and keep it for yourself. I believe that we should be putting it out more often. As artists, it's our job to make sure that people around us are getting to feel the same way that we are, like whatever work we do, they're
Yeah.
feeling the same way that we do. Or maybe they have their own stories that they can connect to. And that's
Yeah,
the
you
whole
make
point
sense.
of me putting out.
Yeah, you're right. You make sense in that way. But what do you think limits you from, executing and, getting yourself to actually putting your work out there? What do you think stops you?
So I'll tell you what has been stopping me for the longest of time, like this has been going on for such a long time now, was I was making music, I was not finishing it.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of difference in it. Like when you make something but it's not finished.
Hmm.
So there the whole point is that when you don't finish, you don't get into that right aspect of like understanding why haven't you completed what you have started. And
Yeah.
half the time when you're not doing it, you're self criticizing yourself so much that you just keep on moving on to new projects and you don't finish what's actually happening. And
Right.
this time somewhere around this time, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna complete whatever I've left. So these projects which I started out, these started out in March, got over in March itself because I tend to sit down and made sure that I want to complete them this time. So
Hmm.
this time I thought like this time I'm completing everything that I make, and this time I have
How
to
does
put it
that
out.
feel?
Huh?
How does that feel that once it's out in the world?
It feels great. It's like it's not overwhelming because I tend to like I'm the kind of person who likes to make music, but at the same time I'm more often like I move on pretty quickly to the next thing.
Yeah.
I don't just stay around on that particular thing that what I did this, now I'm just like feeling good right now. I always keep on doing more, 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 and that's what it keeps me like that's my driving force mostly, that I have to sit and make more music, put out more content, so that for me it feels great because when you put out more content, you get to like have this audience that you can relate to. As an artist, it's only going to be friends around you who are going to always appreciate you. But it
Yeah.
matters when strangers who don't know you listen to your music
Hmm.
and they connect to it. You don't know
Yeah.
that person any which ways. You only know them because they listen to your music and that is how they connect to you. And I think that is something that I personally look forward to. I like the fact that somebody who I don't know likes my music and particularly tells me like, yo, this is good, this is crazy stuff, and that's been happening. People have been DMing me on Instagram and telling me right now there's good stuff that is
I'm
out there. I'm
glad.
like,
I've listened to the EP and I love it. I was one of the lucky people who got to listen to it a little earlier. So I was like, oh, this is gorgeous. I mean, those of you listening, you have to go and listen to Oceanopolis. It's what a beautiful track. My God, I love it. I think
what?
anyone who doesn't understand electronic music in general should start with
Mm-hmm.
that. It's a great, great track. So, when we were talking about what we could, speak about on this stream today, you told me that, you dropped out of engineering college in the last semester.
Yeah, I did that.
So, what made you decide to finally do that?
Uh, I'll tell you. So basically, this is like me going into the first year of college and me being all that good kid where I have to really score well because it's family and it's family tradition that we're into the business of doing what is related to what I'm doing, studying right now. So I
Yeah.
started off pretty well. I got distinction in both the semesters in the first year. Second year was the same story. Third year I just couldn't go ahead with it because what was hurting me more was that I wanted to do something else. I really don't want to make like just sit and do engineering. It's not that it's not interesting, but it's not something that I personally connect to. And
Right.
for me, connection is more important than doing a particular task or particular thing. And music has always been throughout. It's always been that stage. It's always been from the childhood, from when I was born. I've always been listening to a lot of music. Currently in my house, you see records and everything all over the place because my dad is the one who used to listen to a lot of music. It followed through. It followed through from there to me trying to understand how it's made. And then just not going off topic here, but engineering was not something that I really wanted to do. It's
Right.
not something that I personally connected to.
I
And
get
me
that. So,
going, Me going to
Huh.
college, I couldn't personally sit down for lectures because of this particular thing. I really couldn't sit down and be like, you know what, I'm going to attend this, grasp onto what I have to do, go give exams, and at the same time try to score well. And that's like a lot of pressure. And I don't think anybody should be in that state of mind to just like sit and not do something that you like, but do something that you're made to do. That is one thing that I personally don't like about a lot of things happening around us is that people don't tend to understand what they want to do, and they just do things out of pressure or just out of no direction altogether, not trying to find themselves.
Right. So, engineering is a very touchy subject in India and within Indian families.
Yeah,
So,
very
I
true.
mean, I've had that conversation in mine. I'm sure you've had that in yours. So, what was your family's reaction when you told them about your decision?
To be honest, my dad was pretty shocked
Hmm.
because he saw me studying, and even though I did not like go to college and attend, I used to score well, and he personally was not into the zone of not. And he's like, "Why are you not doing this? This is your passion. Your music is your
Yeah.
passion. For you to earn money and do something in life, you need to study this. This is what you have been doing. This is what your family has been doing." And he couldn't really understand it. I think my sister was the first one who understood it. She was the first one who went like, you know what, Dad, let him do what he wants to do. Because hey, you just forcing him to do something is not going to get you anything in return, and it's going to be just bad for him because he's the one who's going to be suffering later on in life. And he's going to blame you for everything that happens with his life, and you do
Right.
not want to be accountable for it.
Right. So, your sister was like a support system of sorts.
Yeah, she was the first one who was like, you do what you have to do, let it be. It's okay. Like you want to make music, go make music. If you want to complete engineering, if you want to complete that particular thing that your parents are wanting you to do it like just for the sake of it. But I tried it for a very long time. That did not happen. And
Yeah.
apparently in the last year, I was like, you know what, this is just getting. I think I had a year down, 2 year downs, not one, 2 year downs, 2 year downs in a row.
Oh man,
Where I
that must
like
not have been
where
easy at home.
no, that wasn't easy. But at the same time, year downs in the sense like I had to fill up my forms to go and give exams. Where I actually had been studying for some time, thinking like, you know what, this time I'll just go and give my exams. But I did not fill those forms for 4 semesters straight. That is 2 years.
Right.
Then I attempted once last year, and then I was like, no, this can't be happening. This is not what I want to do.
I get that. And it's, speaking of, having dropped out and realizing that this is not meant for you and, pursuing music as a full-time profession for yourself, is there is there any moment where you felt like your work or you aren't good enough?
I'm so
I
sorry.
lost you. I lost you, I think. That's okay, I'll repeat myself. So, speaking of, you know, deciding to take that leap of faith in yourself and dropping out
Hmm.
and, pursuing a career as a full-time musician, has there ever been a moment in your life or a bunch of moments in your life where you thought that you or your work weren't good enough?
I, to be honest, it's the whole thing, the whole scenario is about that, about being an artist, about being a full-time musician, is that you don't have a fixed source of income, which
Yeah.
is what bothers your family the most.
Yeah, that you
Like
don't,
I,
the whole thing
like
about
you don't
stability.
earn enough. You don't earn enough, first of all, and the second of all is that they don't understand what you actually do.
Yeah.
They don't really understand what you're trying to do, and that puts you into a headspace where you start questioning a lot of your decisions. A lot of your decisions come from places where you're like, you know what, I have been trying to do this, but
I lost you again, sorry.
hello,
Huh.
just hold
So,
on for
testing it.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I don't know if you can. That's odd. Let's wait for him to join back. Till then, all of you can be blessed with my face. Okay.
Hear
I think
me?
you're back. Yeah, wave for me. Wave. Do you think?
Hold on.
That's okay. Say something and wave for me, so I know that
Can you hear
it's
me now?
happening in real time. Yay!
Can
Okay.
you hear me now?
You were saying.
Oh, so where did I was saying something and I had this
Yes,
weird
about
connection.
no. So you were talking about you feeling that sense of whether your work was good enough, and your parents not knowing what you were actually doing.
Hmm. So yeah, so this is what I actually happened. I was pursuing music, and I was not making. For people who don't know, I was not making electronic music in the sense of what I'm doing right now. I was a very commercial artist. I was playing commercial gigs out in Pune, Bombay, and other cities, and that is what had happened. And I was actually doing it because I was like, you know what, this pays me money,
Yeah,
and whatever I really want to pursue is not something that would pay me money, because that's a different spectrum of how different genres are getting paid in different ways.
yeah, because of the demand that is there for them, respectively. I think.
Yeah, yeah, very, very true. Like, is it? Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, okay.
Huh.
So genres is one of the things that I chose. I chose doing that because I thought it would pay me money, but it did not give me the satisfaction of what I actually wanted to do. And after a point, I thought of it in a way where I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this just for the sake of money. And money was not like an issue for me.
Yeah,
I come from a good family background, I'm privileged enough to know that I can make and pursue my dreams.
yeah.
I can make do and pursue my dreams at the same time. It's not a pressure onto me. I feel lucky about that. I'm very grateful for my parents like being that way. But that is not what I saw. That is not something that I wanted to do.
Yes. Have your parents ever come for your gigs?
No, not my parents, but my sister has attended one of my gigs.
But have they
And
listened to your sorry?
my music,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, yeah, they've heard it, but they don't quite understand it.
I
So
mean, have you tried to, explain to them that this is what I'm doing, this is a particular like you showing them the software that you work with or something like that. Has that helped in any way to introduce them to your world?
yeah, so basically what I try to do is I to play a bunch of videos of the artists that I look up to on the internet, and tell them that this is the kind of music that gets played outside in other countries, and these are the artists who are quite big in it, and this is what I'm planning to do, and this is what I want to do. So they just look at it and they're like, okay, I don't. It's good. It looks very fancy. It looks nice, but we don't understand the music. So I was like, okay, I don't want to force you and make you understand something that you guys don't understand. Maybe someday, when I'm playing somewhere at a better place or something, I'll take you there. You guys would understand better. My mom is being behind me. She's like, you don't take me to your gigs. I was like, you don't ask me. And when I want to take you to your gigs, they're just like, I'm not going to come where people are like getting sloshed. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't come. But see, then she watches my videos. My Instagram stories or somebody posting about me. She gets to
Yeah.
know about it. She checks it out, and she's like, "Okay, you were doing this last night." I was like, "Yeah, that is what I was doing." If was it good? I was like, "Yeah, it was good." It's like, how
That's
does it make you feel?
that's a start. I think that's a good
Yeah.
start to get them, into that.
Hold on, Sangamitra. I'm just gonna ask you something. Is the lighting proper? Because I'm not seeing. You're blurring
Yeah,
out for me.
it's fine. It's absolutely okay. Don't worry.
It's fine.
And I lost him
Are you
again.
sure?
Okay, no, yes, yes. True, it's good.
I'm so sorry. This is the connection, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Is
okay.
this the
It's okay.
connection?
No, I don't think. I think it hung for a bit, but it's fine. We're back. So,
Okay.
so you used to play a lot of commercial music and then you shifted to techno. So for a lot of people who are listening, commercial music is your big room stuff, which is all the pop music you hear on your MTV remix, your Martin Garrix and the likes of
Your
them.
your hip hop and your
Yeah,
commercial stuff that you keep in your phone, the pop songs that you listen to, maybe that
yeah.
explains it well.
Yeah, probably. Or, and shifting and explaining techno would be house music is a movement that started in the US, and when you add cymbals of a drum to it, it becomes techno. And then there are different variations of that also. So you shifted to techno and
Yeah.
a lot of other forms of electronic music, not just techno. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So, what made you decide? Because it's like you said, it doesn't pay as well. We know a lot of musicians, a lot of performers who are so brilliant, but they will go and play commercial gigs because it pays them money.
Yeah. That happens quite soon. Like that is a thing right now. People do that just because it pays. Commercial music pays you, and stuff that you like, you wouldn't like you. It will pay you, but you won't get the same amount of gigs as per se what you'd get being a commercial artist. That is how it has been for a very long time.
Right. So, we have a question that asks, how would you define techno as a genre? And then you can answer mine about why you decided to make that switch.
Okay, how would I describe techno as a genre?
Yes.
It's quite simple. It's very liberating.
Hmm.
For me personally, it's very liberating because not a lot of techno tracks have a lot of vocals in it.
Yeah.
They are very groove driven,
Hmm.
and it's quite simple. It's quite easier for people to like connect. For because see, connection happens only when people listen to something that where everybody around you, in front of you, are into that whole zone of understanding, of not understanding, but just being there in the present moment. And I think techno does justice to that. Because when you're listening to techno, or when you're playing techno, or when you're performing, I don't see anybody being in a second state of mind where they're thinking about their work
Right.
or they're
Yeah.
thinking about what's happening in life.
Yeah.
They're just there, and that's this pure connection. And that connection is so huge because, and techno, one more thing about techno is that it's liberating because it's it's not bound by any of those things.
Yeah.
You can dance, you can be a man or woman, you can be whoever you want,
Yeah.
and you still it's a genre where you're accepted as you are.
Yeah, I
And
personally
me,
like it a lot because I started listening to it in the beginning because of my work and because I had
uh-huh.
to be at these gigs. And earlier, I wasn't as fond of it. There were, maybe one or two tracks here and there where I'll go like, okay, because what I used to love earlier was I was a huge classic rock buff, or I would listen to a lot
Hmm.
of yeah, it was mostly classic and progressive rock or alt rock. So that was my genre at that point, and then I made that switch, and
Hmm.
now I'm at a point where if I'm working, I will put on either techno or progressive house, or I listen to a lot of Psy while I'm working. And the first
Yeah,
thing
I
in the
know
morning,
that.
I'll
Yeah.
listen to Psy or some hard techno and dark
Hmm.
techno, especially.
Yes. Yeah.
It's quite strange because a lot of people don't do that, but it's but then I get what you mean about it. Now, what made
And
you make that? Huh?
one more thing I'd like to add to this. The other thing about techno as a genre, or house music as a genre, is that it's not about just liberation, but at the same time, the freedom of expression as an
Yeah,
artist for me personally is too high because here I'm not pleasing people by
hmm.
playing the music that they want. Here I'm creating an atmosphere for them that they might not know, but they might still enjoy it.
And also want to explore it.
Yeah, there are so many people who are new to techno. I think techno started booming in the last two
Yeah.
years,
Oh yeah,
and
massive.
people did not know about techno before that. Like, no, not the generation that exists right now did not know about techno. These were all commercial buffs,
Right.
and right now
So
these same people are trying to understand it. That's a very good thing. It's a
right.
very
So is
good
that
thing.
why you made that switch where you thought that you weren't playing for the others but playing for yourself?
No, to be honest, it's never about. Even if you've attended one of my gigs, and I don't know, a couple of my gigs, you'll see me whenever I'm playing or whenever I'm performing. My my criteria of playing music is not restricted to what I'm going to go and play.
Right.
It's so much on the go. I
Yeah.
have so much of like I just gathered a lot of bunch of stuff that I've heard, a bunch of music that I've heard, bunch of techno that I've heard, and it's so much on the go because I see this energy around me. This energy around me is where my track selection goes right. That's the major part. Whenever you heard me or whenever people have heard me play, the whole point is that I try to, and it's not about just me reading the crowd. I try
Yeah.
to connect with them by making like understanding, like you know what, right now I'm playing something, and what could be the next thing that could
Yeah, I've seen
create
you
a journey or a
improvise
story,
this lot. I've
huh?
seen at the first gig that I came off
Hmm.
with you performing. I was there with a friend of mine, and I remember seeing you actually watching the people, and you changed your track
Yeah,
in the middle. You did transition to a little bit, but then you're like, no, this is not it, and you switched it again.
yeah. So that is what it is. Like I think it's not for the people. It's not exactly for the people. It's not even for myself. It's just that I feel free to express
Yeah,
and the freedom of expression when you're making music. I don't know, like today I'm making techno, Sangamitra. Today I'm making techno in 2020. In
yeah,
2025, you'd never know I'd be making drum and bass.
yeah. Maybe let's see. I think
Yeah.
you should explore all of them. You've
So
worked with
yeah.
a lot of artists, in the past, and you've tried to collaborate with Mansi, who is a visual artist, on a few experiential sets.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
then, even in general, I want to understand, is it difficult for artists of different styles and varying expertise to collaborate and reach to the point of actually putting out work?
So I'll tell you. So basically, collaboration is. I think a lot of people find it difficult because everybody has their own take on what they want to do,
Yeah, their own way of
and
doing things.
yeah, and collaboration is a space where it's not just about you.
Hmm.
It's not exactly about you. It's about the other people who are involved with you. And people fail to understand that to a lot of extent. They don't understand that, here you're trying to create something together. So your way of working and their way of working might collide or
Yeah,
might not work the way you want to. But if you make it work, it can be something new for the people or for the audience to experience. And that
yeah,
is more important than you like having your own zone of working because I've had this power problem personally where I've thought of you know what I want to collaborate with someone but my style and their style just doesn't match. This
yeah.
happened with in fact this happened with the same collaboration that I did with Jui and Mansi.
Right.
We were working on this project but we were not we're not getting to a point where we actually understood what we're actually doing. That
Yeah.
is when all three of us on the same table started coming up with ideas.
Hmm.
Like I started putting out ideas, Julie started putting out her own stuff, and Mansi had her own take on like, you know what, I think this can be one of the things that can add on to what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's a collective decision. And nobody can be right and wrong over here. So you all ideas on the table should be accepted, or maybe it's not about rejecting them, but trying to understand what works better for all the people involved.
Right. But then is there any point where you think that, like you said, where you talk about, I think of, collaborating with this artist, but then I feel like our styles are very different. Do you think that
Huh.
stops us from tapping into our own potential to see what we're actually capable of?
Yeah, it most definitely does. Because, see, I'll tell you, people who are very experienced producers and people who are like coming up and know how to make good music, but are not that technical enough in it, they might fear. They just have this fear sometimes. You know what? Like, that guy knows so much. I don't know as much as him. What if I just don't, you know, live up to that expectations of somebody else expecting something out of me? But that is
Yeah.
the point where you actually, I think it's all about asking. Asking is so important. Like if you,
Yeah.
I personally asked so many of my friends. I was not great with. I'm telling you upfront on this live stream. I was not great with mixing music. I was not great at that. I've learned it from my friends who used to be resident DJs. I think Yash and Dave at Coco. These guys used to play day in, day out. I used to go there. Before my set, I used to stand and see what these guys were actually doing. Because
Yeah.
they have a very different take on what they do with it. And they have been doing it for such a long time.
Yeah.
Even though I might be producing music or I might be playing music, but I don't think learning never stops. And you should ask them. That is the whole point. You should ask anyone for it. If you don't ask, then you're just going to be in that bubble, and that's the worst thing. That's the place you don't want to be. I've honestly been in that place too, where I've been like either too egoistic. I think not be like, you know what, I don't want. I just want to go ask somebody what they're doing, or maybe I
Yeah.
don't know how they'll react to it. But even if they don't react to it, you can always ask, and you can ask those people who might, you never know, somebody who's not good at making music might be just good at making like mixing the tracks so well
Yeah.
that you might just learn from them. And it can also
Yeah.
be somewhere you can personally contribute to them making better music. Like you can help them out if they're learning. I have this one friend of mine. She started right now. She's very upcoming. She started producing, but her mixing skills might just be as better as mine or better than me. She's just up and coming. She's very young to me, and
Yeah.
I see her mixing, and I personally feel like, you know what, like I've been doing this for
Yeah.
such a long time, and this girl is so better at it. So
Yeah.
I just go and see her do that, and she asks me a question about production in general. I help her out. So
Right.
it goes two
So,
ways. It goes both ways.
I agree. Like, speaking of Yash, Dev, and Gogo, I think they're fabulous DJs and who, know how to make, how to perform. They're brilliant. And coming back to what you said, do you feel like, going and talking to people and,
Mm-hmm.
taking a step, like, going up to someone and, saying, okay,
Uh,
I want to either learn from you or I have a question about this. Can you help me out?
hmm.
But then there are so many people who are so shy to do something like that.
Okay.
And that hinders you
Mhm.
in a lot of ways. It hinders you from, thinking, oh, what will they think of me? Or will they think I'm stupid? Or will they think I'm not capable? Or will they think I'm weird? Or will they think I'm being creepy? I don't know what. So why do you think we seek someone else's validation?
So
Because
this,
I'm only asking this because the act of going up to them, mostly it has less to do with who we us thinking about our potential, but I feel like it is more to do about the other person's reaction.
yeah. So that is one of the things that I'll tell you. So for you, are you talking about validation over here? But honestly speaking, like, so keep this in mind, like, you don't know some artists. Some artists has come from another country. He's playing in your city. And just because you're shy, or maybe you can't go and speak up to them and not have put a word forward,
Yeah,
you're not tapping into the possibilities of what knowledge or what insights that person could give.
yeah,
And that doesn't, like, people, I know people who are like people who are scared or fear talking to other people. This happened very recently. Manuel Delamar was in town in December,
yeah,
and I met this guy. This guy is what, he's 44 right now. He's a very good artist, a very big artist. He's a very big name in the industry.
yeah,
Very humble, very down to earth. In fact, he's the one who was asking me, like, how does it work here in your city? What kind of music do people listen to in your city? Just give me more insight because I'll be playing tonight. So I was like, this is the kind of music that we play, and this is what has been going on. And similar artists to you who've come to the city before have done this. So he was the one who was asking us. And in
yeah,
return, I just thought to myself that, you know what, this guy who knows so much, who has a record label, who produces music all by himself, comes from another country, comes to my city, and asks us questions about what he can do here and how he can explore more.
yeah,
And that just put me on the thing, like, you know what, I should personally go and ask more,
yeah,
because you can go out and always ask people. Like, So now this is basically like you start building a rapport with someone only if you go and speak to them.
Hmm.
That one conversation that you have with them, that just might be like, you know what, hello, I like your music and I've always been following you and it's inspired me. That makes a lot of sense because
Yeah.
that person might remember that or not, but it gives you that heads up for a longer term that, you know what, I just went and asked this person something. I am confident enough to do this multiple times. When you do this for multiple times, you open up to people to ask them questions.
Hmm.
Like I remember, I used to the first time I played at Coco
Hmm.
last year in January. I personally went up to them. I did not know any of those people personally. I did not know Dave. I did not know Yash. I did not know Tarun personally. I
Hmm.
went up and I asked them after my set was over. I went up and I asked them like, how did you
Yeah.
like it? What was good? What was bad? Where can I improve? What
Yeah.
did it match with what your place stands for? Because
Yeah.
all of these questions are very important for me to understand as an artist, that what I can learn more. And people are always going to give you insights. They might criticize you, they might tell you that it was good, it was bad, but you always have to know what to pick it up, like what to pick up from that and go ahead.
Yeah.
That's so important.
It is. It is. And there are a lot of times we keep forgetting our prior successes in life.
Hmm.
For example, when we're, questioning whether we're good enough with doing something.
Hmm.
Like I was questioning whether I should actually continue doing this live stream. And I was like, should I do it? Should I keep going ahead? But then there are a lot of times where people question their prior successes. Why do you think that is? I mean, we forget it. We don't question it. Sorry. We forget that we've actually achieved so much in the past.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah,
that one goes a long way thinking about, see, I thought of it as a success when I did a visual show back in February.
yeah,
And somewhere down in November, I was in this headspace of like, I'm not doing enough. And that is just because you don't, so the experience that you had at that time, you're not trying to relive it in a way where you know that, you know what, and I did something that was so great. But you know what pushes us forward is questioning it, understanding what you can do better than that,
yeah,
and then moving towards it. What we don't do is that we don't forget about it, but we don't give it enough value. Is what the problem is. We don't value it enough because it happened at that particular moment. It is not happening right now, and when you see it, it's already done.
yeah,
But the value that it has as a memory, as a collaboration, the amount of people that you met, and the kind of vibe that you created for the people that were there, as a collective whole, that's a lot. Like right now, when I think about it, that was a very good thing that I did. And
yeah,
people just think about what to do next. But
yeah,
it's always about re-evaluating what you've done in the past and how you can do something better in the future.
yeah.
Also keeping in account what your present is and what you're doing in the present moment so that your future can be better.
That's true.
I,
You
I
make
hope you're
sense.
getting what I'm telling you.
I get it. So, what are the various things you're trying to do in your life to break that cycle of self-doubt?
So basically, to break the cycle of self-doubt, okay, this might take some time for me to answer this for you. Like
Go for it.
this will take a lot of time to answer this particular question because yeah. So self-doubt, I think, is one of those things where you question yourself, you question your self-worth, you question whatever you've done to a point in life, and you're actually not understanding that you're not actually understanding the process. You're not actually evaluating your process, and you're not actually being fully accountable for what you've done,
Yeah,
and not being fully accountable for what you have to be doing. So all of this collectively is such a question where you are sitting and trying to understand, like, I make music, why is it good and why is it bad? Why do I feel it's not making sense to me anymore? Why am I not pursuing this? Or maybe why am I just sitting here in front of my
yeah,
laptop and trying to make music for 8 hours and it's not happening?
yeah,
So the major part of this is that people don't people don't have the stronger beliefs required. Their belief systems in general are not strong. So that every day, like you wake up in the morning and you remind yourself, you know what, this is what I stand for, this is what I've been doing, this is what I've done, and I accept what has happened to me, and I want to do better. So as soon as you do that, your self doubt, your self talk narrative is so high that you stop questioning yourself and you try understanding yourself more. Our self doubt is actually a very good thing that happens to us if you see it in the right perspective, like if you see it in
Yeah,
the
some of
positive
it is
perspective.
positive. Yeah, some of it is positive, I think.
Yeah, and like people don't understand. Like for example, I was making music for like I started producing in 2015. It's 2020 when I thought of releasing music. And I've been
Yeah.
telling people that I'll be releasing my music every year.
Yeah, I've
Understand
been in.
that? Like yeah, like
Yeah.
every year I've been telling people like, you know what, this time I'm releasing my stuff, you have to check it out. And it's always there as a private track in my SoundCloud, still lies there. I don't know if there are 20 private tracks in my SoundCloud account right now that are still there. That's because that's because I haven't thought of it in a way where, this should be out. What am I
Yeah.
doing with this? How is it helping me, keeping it here? And the problem with us is like artists in general, I'm talking about, is self doubt happens because you question your art. That is the problem. You do not question what you make. That is for people to judge, people to understand. You do not question what you make. Because see, today, you might like my music. Somebody in your circle who listens to techno might not like my music.
Yeah.
Somebody who has not heard techno might like my music.
Hmm.
You see the variation of the variety of people out there. You are
Yeah.
not the one who needs to sit and have this doubt with yourself, trying to understand and trying to say to yourself that, you know what, this doesn't deserve to go out. You're not just doing justice to yourself, because at the end of the day, that is art that you've created. And that is
Yeah.
art is to be put out to the world, not to be kept with you. That's just being selfish. I see it
Hmm.
as a way of being selfish. Like, you know what? I did something I don't want to share. I don't want people to know how I make my music, or maybe like something
Yeah.
like that.
It feels like it's your baby that, once it's out in the world, it's not yours anymore. So
That is
that's
that
how
is one
I
way
see
people
a lot
look
of
at
my
it.
unfinished work.
Yeah, I don't hear that. What do you say?
I said the way I see a lot of my unfinished work, like my
Mm-hmm.
unfinished written pieces or photographs
Hmm.
I haven't shared, is that it's my baby. And then the moment I put it out in the world, it's not mine anymore. So I get what you mean. I do.
Yeah, but again, see, you make something not just for yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you're an artist, for example, you write something. Yesterday, you were having this intense conversation where you told me that this author thought he was worthless and his
Yeah.
work was published and he turned out to be one of the biggest authors of the 20th century.
Yeah.
You see, like his work must have created an impact for a million people out there that he
Yeah.
thought was worthless. So
Yeah.
he was the one judging himself for it.
Yeah.
And why I don't understand the point. Like today, right, I can say this. I put out any sorts of my work out there. I am open to all sorts of criticism. I really don't I love the fact that people want to criticize my work.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that they want to criticize my work because they are just going to help me grow. There's nothing more that they can do. This is going to help me
That's a
grow.
great attitude to have.
So, somebody hates it. Oh
Yeah.
damn, dude, it's nice. I would make something. I would send it to you personally again and make you listen to it again, and then I would like to know. I wouldn't stop trying, not just to
That's
please that other person, not just to
hmm.
please the other person, but I would like the other person to like understand. Like for example, Sangamitra has a certain taste in music,
Hmm.
right? I put out something that is not Sangamitra's style,
That is
but
not
now
possible. Huh.
no, but I'm just telling you. I'm giving an example over here. Okay, that is not Sangamitra's type. This is not what Sangamitra listens to. But then now I know that this is the wider spectrum of people out there who listen to different kinds of music. I would
Yeah.
like to make something like that and be like, you know what? I think you like that kind of stuff. Here you go, listen to this now. Here you go,
Yeah.
listen to that now. So I'm just all about right now. I'm so pumped about content because I'm just like I just want to put everything out. It's
Yeah,
just
I get
because
that.
I just think it's because the point that 5 years I've just been keeping it to myself, and right now I'm just so ready to put it out because I really want people to like listen to it, not just listen to it, maybe connect to it or criticize it because I do get criticism. People tell me like that there's something wrong. But I remember this one thing that happened was when I made this EP. I sent it out to a bunch of people out there. I like a lot of people out there before it could go out. I took
Yeah.
feedback from a lot of people, try to understand what is their perspective on it. But I was like,
Hmm.
you know what? I'm just gonna take their perspective on it. I'm not just gonna take it to my heart. I'm gonna release it anyway.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna try to understand what they think of it. And that happened because see, I know I'm just giving you this example where there's this artist from Bangalore
Hmm.
who I keep sending my work to.
Hmm.
And he's been generous enough to every time I send him some work, he will give me the most genuine feedback. Like he'll
Yeah.
upfront tell me that this is in the technical aspects of it, not like what normal people would listen to.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, that this is damn nice. I get feedback because I'm making something, and there's a different person who has a different take on it, and he might be right. Like he really might be right on this. That you know what, if I just change this particular thing
Hmm.
about my track, it would just make it better. And why not? If somebody's trying to help you and trying to give you proper criticism for like really good criticism on it, like the people really there's some people who are really good at criticism. I swear to God, like in the technical aspects of it, they'll literally tell you what's wrong with your track.
I
And I
get that.
like these people. I like these people. I just tell them like, just be honest with me. Just tell me what it is. And I don't want two answers, like two words from you or two, three characters from you. Good, thumbs up, it was nice. I want to know in detail. You give me
Right.
more in detail.
Right. You know, Kafka's been a recurring theme of my streams because in the last one also with my friend Jatin, we spoke about him. So,
Hmm.
but Kafka actually spent his entire childhood because with his
Hmm.
father who told him that he wasn't good enough. And
Okay.
that affected him psychologically a lot over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, is there something that you thought as a child that hinders you till today about yourself?
I'll tell you.
I have an
So,
interesting story for that. So you tell me yours first, and then I'll tell you mine.
as a child, what
Yeah.
really made me feel like I am not doing better in life, or what is it? Like your
Like, is
pinpointed
there
question.
something you thought as a child that stopped you? Like thinking
Okay.
that, okay, I'm probably not good at, say, basketball, or I'm not good at singing, and or I'm not good at swimming. Is there something like that that has carried forward till today?
Oh, there's a lot of it. I swear
Okay,
to
give
God,
me
there's a
one.
lot of it. I'll start off with the point that I almost try to do everything.
Hmm.
Like I've done so many activities that my parents try to inculcate or try to put me into. They put me for
Hmm.
dance. They
Hmm.
try to get me skating.
Hmm.
Okay, that they did. Then they enrolled me for a DJing class. Well, I
Hmm.
think I was in 8th grade or 7th grade back then.
Hmm.
And then I was going for arts. I was trying to go and make portraits when I was in 5th grade. There was a different
Yeah.
class that I used to go for, and I completed none.
So you
I
think
did
you're
all of this.
bad in most of them, or you're not that good in most of them till today? Is there anything like that?
Though I just like the fact that I got to explore a bit of it. I don't see it as a way that I learned everything, but I just got to learn the bits and pieces of it. And I just see myself, and it helps because not just because I couldn't complete my art, like whatever I was
Hmm.
studying back then. And I think it was when I was in 5th grade or 7th grade when I was learning like how to paint and how to draw. And I used to go to this class and try to learn and make things out of my own on my whatever that is, that the paper that they make art on.
Yeah.
Canvas, yeah.
Yeah.
So I tried to do that, and I never could. I wasn't bad. Like I don't think I was good at it. I was as good at replicating art. Like I really could replicate something as it is, but I couldn't use my own brains and make something. I was as bad at it.
And
So
have you tried
that
doing
happened,
that?
huh?
Have you tried doing that and drawing something just out of your own imagination?
No, I'm very horrible at writing. Like you sent me this questionnaire sometime back. I was like I was like I understand the handwriting. I'm just glad you did not see me writing something. You wouldn't
No,
understand what
so
I write.
I had something like that where when I was 9, this girl in my school told this other girl to not be friends with me. Don't be friends with Sangamitra because Sangamitra had bad handwriting. And that
What?
stuck with me till date. That
What?
entire summer, I was 9. Okay, and that entire summer I spent changing my handwriting because I was upset that someone wasn't friends with me because of my handwriting. And today, I mean, in retrospect, it still does affect me. Like if I look at my handwriting and it's bad, I was like, no, it's bad. It's bad. People will stop being
Hmm.
friends with me. So it's a weird fear that I have. So it's quite strange. But no,
I'll
I
tell
meant,
you.
have you ever tried drawings? Like you said, you were good at replicating drawings, but not at,
Yeah.
drawing something out of your
Huh,
imagination.
huh.
So is there something have you tried doing that recently?
No, I haven't done that. I
Then you
really
try
haven't
and you
done
come
that.
back. You have to try
I
it.
will do. I will do that. I will do that. And I'll tell you
Yeah,
one more thing is that
you can hold him accountable and ask him, send him a DM randomly and go like, yo, did you try drawing something?
okay,
And
I'll do that.
I
I'll
think
send you. I'll put it on my story and I'll tag you. I'll do that.
done. It's a deal. So, do you ever feel like, have you ever imagined what life would be like if you actually finished the last semester of engineering? Would it be different?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
No?
so. It would have been different. I would have just been like, I have this degree of me being an engineer, and that's it. And that's
Hmm.
that's that's the end of it. Like I just have this particular thing that I've learned, but
Yeah.
it's not something I'll my parents would be proud of it. I would be proud of myself for completing it if I did it,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be like it would affect my way of thinking or my stream of working or whatever music I make right now. Any of those things are not going to get affected
Right.
because
So,
see, to, I think me completing engineering would have just been a bonus for my family. It wouldn't have. It would have just been a thing to be hung on the wall for me. Nothing more than that. And that's
yeah.
not how I want to see it. Like I would like to do it. I would go and complete my engineering. I swear to God, I would do it, but not right now. Once I feel like you know what, I have too much spare time in my life. I just want to know how machines work. I'll enroll back in. I'll just go and do it. Not right now.
Well, I hope whatever you do, helps you with understanding yourself better at the end of the day because that's way more important. Uh, and I just want to, we're reaching about like the last 7 minutes. So
Hmm.
we have a question that came in saying, how do you find a good mentor?
How do you
I
find
mean,
a good mentor?
yeah, in the music industry, but you can tell me in generally only also. What do you look for in someone who can mentor you into becoming the best version of yourself?
I think mentors
Hmm.
right now, people who would help you. I think there's a lot of positive content that is out there, Sangha Mishra. There's a lot of positive content out there.
Yeah, so
You
tell me about
can
people though.
people,
Yeah.
people in
Someone
general,
who
like someone in
you
reality,
yeah,
someone in reality would help you
yeah,
out.
yeah. It could
That
actually be
goes.
also be a character from a show that doesn't matter.
Okay, that is there. There are so many people that I look up to that way.
Give me one.
See, I'll tell you. For somebody who wants to find a mentor in general, as an artist, I'll give you two. I'll give you two takes on it in the shortest time possible. Okay. Somebody who wants to have a mentor, start talking to one of the artists that you look up to, not somebody who's like very big enough, somebody who is decent enough with what he does.
Hmm.
Decent, like I'm not saying just go talk. I'm not saying go talk to David Guetta and tell him that I want to talk to you and tell me how my music is and I want you to mentor me. That's not going to happen. Like
Yeah,
if
but
you're lucky enough if that happens,
I'm
huh?
upset with I'm only 2009 David Guetta. I'm quite upset about what happened to him after that. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
understand.
that's that's a different Guetta altogether. So yeah, that so and mentorship in general. I'll tell you, people. There are some people who text me and ask me about very, 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 very young guys, 16, 17-year olds, who are learning how to produce music. And I do whatever is possible from my side to help them. Either I tell them that this is what is happening with your music and this is what you could be doing, or
Hmm.
maybe you could just go and check out so much content that is out there
Yeah.
on the web. And or other thing is that you have people around you.
Hmm.
For example, Sangamitra has so many writer friends, maybe. And
Hmm.
Sangamitra looks up to someone who is very good with their writing skills.
Yeah.
Ask them questions. Ask them how you got there. Ask them what is it that you did consistently to get to a point where you are right now. I'll tell you one of my mentors is this guy called After Morning. He's not a guy who makes music. Like the kind of music that I make. He is a guy who makes very different kind of music. He's into Bollywood remix and mashups. But God, that guy is so consistent. I'm not kidding. That guy can finish off with like 9 to 10 tracks straight every month,
Wow.
and that's his level of doing it. And right now, I look up to him because I've seen him doing that for the last 4 years. From the last 6 years, he's been putting out his content on YouTube. And right now, just 3 days ago, I saw a post. That guy has hit 10 crore views. They're like, oh, that is how many? I don't know. I read it as 10 crore. So that is like 10 million, 100 million views.
I don't know.
That is,
I'm very bad
yeah,
with the
yeah,
thing.
that is like 100 million views. 100 million views in 6 years
Yeah.
on YouTube just by doing it consistently and trying to understand what to do, how to do. I'm not saying you have to be genre specific with somebody who knows how to make music. You can always see how they work, how they work, how they see what they have to do. Like they have it so planned. Some people are so planned with what they do. I have this other friend called he's on the street writing, Triso. He's been putting out music for such a long time. He's one of those guys who taught me DJing. He's the
Yeah.
one who taught me DJing back in 2015. That guy has been doing this for such a long time, and he is somebody who is very consistent with his work. He does it. He has his things planned. I don't see the nitty-gritties of what and how he makes music. I see how he works. Because as a mentor, somebody's not going to sit with you and tell you like this is how a song is made. That is for you to figure out because your style is always going to be different from what other people are doing. If you try to learn how they are doing, you're always going to be somewhat copying what they're doing.
I
You're never
get
going
that.
to be able to explore what you're currently doing. You can
I get
always see how other people work. And I think that goes ways to see because when you look up, I'll give you another example. There's this character called Bobby Axelrod on Billions
Yeah.
that comes on CBC. I think that comes on show. What is that? There's a different platform that it comes out on. That has nothing to do with music. That guy is a hedge fund manager. He runs a hedge fund. I get inspired by it because I see him working. I see his work ethics.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, your work ethics are what counts. As an artist, to the core, your work ethics of how you put in the work, how you talk to people. Because I think it's not just about making music, it's much more than that. You have to talk to people, you have to connect to people, you have to try to understand what they are liking, what they are doing, try to get inspired by what they are doing. For example, I'm so happy that you do this podcast. You do this thing. Like, this is so great. This is nothing like what other people are doing, but I see somebody whom I know doing this gives me a lot of inspiration to be like, you know what, this has been happening constantly. 25 episodes. This is the 25th episode, I guess, today,
No,
and I just
actually,
put
I
out
think I did it wrong. It's 24. It's not 25.
yeah, it's the 24th episode right now, and you've
I'm
been doing
losing
it consistently.
Yeah.
See, you're losing count, and you've
Yeah.
been doing it consistently.
Yeah.
That says so much about you because from your first podcast to your 24th one, I can tell you that there must be a lot of major difference in how you are right now.
Thank you.
So
So,
these are all the things that count, I think. Yeah.
they do. So, we are at the last minute of this, and I don't want this to, run away before we speak about this one thing. We're going to do a separate one later. But okay, in under a minute, can you tell me about your interest in waste management systems and what are the things that you do at home to reduce waste that we're sending out to landfills? For those of you
I think,
interested in this, we're going to do another one about this later, but it's not a live stream, so sorry. Huh.
okay, I am
In
going
one
to finish
minute,
this off.
less than a minute.
Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah. So basically, you as a human being should be more aware and more conscious of the fact that the amount of waste that you put out needs to be segregated and put out for the people. It makes the job easier for the people out there who process it. Sometimes it doesn't just get processed, and you are putting other people's lives in danger when you're not segregating waste, or maybe you're not taking care of what's there at your house. Maybe it can be a lot of other stuff. It can be sanitary waste, it can be your wet waste, it can be your dry waste. If this is not segregated and put out, somebody else is doing it for you. You need to understand the fact these people are human too. You
Yeah.
can make their jobs easier. You can do it by yourself. You can segregate waste. And you yourself will start seeing a difference. It's a very small difference that you make, but it counts on multiple levels.